What up, what up? Hi. Say hi.
Hi.
You're disappeared.
Over.
Why is it my fault that you're not on the screen?
Because you're always taking all of the
I'm
spots.
always taking all of the spots.
You are
I don't think
taking
that's
all the
accurate.
spots.
So Xavier said that he is here, but he's got to listen like a podcast because he's driving. And
Okay.
Minion is early squad.
Okay.
Hashtag early squad. You spelled squad incorrectly though. It's a true story. You should learn how to spell. Just saying.
Or the entire...
Clark says hi. Hi, Clark.
Hi, Clark. The entire Oxford / Merriam-Webster dictionary should learn how to spell.
Dalton says sup.
Hi, Dalton.
What do I want? Well, none of those are what I want. I'm confused.
I thought you wanted window capture.
That is what I want.
Well, okay.
There we go. Boom, baby. It's not showing anything. What up with that? What up, fool? Why does it not show anything? I'm confused.
There's paintball accessories. They're giving them away.
For free, apparently, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna try resetting that. Window capture. Paintball, Craigslist. It's doing it again. I'm gonna have to, I think I have to update the system is what it is, so.
Why don't you try doing it in another window? Instead of Firefox, open it in Chrome and see if that
I can
changes.
try that. I can indeed, and will indeed try that, so.
Sometimes I have wise ideas.
Okay. I try to use Firefox because Google likes to, track my life, and Firefox does not. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
No, that one's not working. I think I have to update. It wants me to update, so that's probably what it is.
Okay, well.
All right, so we'll just talk about them for a little bit here. So let's see here. First, and this one I might want to get myself. Prices are negotiable and open to offers. He has it up for $1, but
Pellet tanks.
lots of paintball parts, gun barrels, springs, cleaner, pellet tanks,
Can
and
someone
more.
tell me?
I think it means a hopper.
Does he mean a hopper?
I think he means hoppers, or
Or pod pad?
no,
pod.
he's got tack pod. So he's talking about the tubes.
Okay.
The paintball tubes. But these paintball guns are pretty
Look at those-
freaking old school.
Look at those rusty Allen keys.
Yeah.
That's what I
Sitting in
want.
someone's
And look at
garage.
that gross. I don't know what it is. It looks like oil or lube.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. Throw that away.
This has all been sitting in someone's garage or basement for 20, 30 years. But they're so old school. I kind of want them just as like a collector's item, honestly.
Can he keep those rusty Allen keys?
I might, well, no, I'll just throw them out. But I think I actually might contact this guy about that. Someone's still trying to sell a Defender for
I'm not
$600.
driving to Brookline. You can go get that yourself.
So if anyone wants a Defender for $600, it's being sold. Paintball accessories, $0. Prices and parts of paintball hardware, electronics. Must see to appreciate. Accepting offers. And there's a picture, like just a picture from the 90s or early 2000s of a paintball player.
I think that kind of looks like Clark, though.
It does kind of, but like, you're not going to tell us anything about what kind of paintball accessories there are.
Well, he's, we have to see them.
Tons
to
of
appreciate.
paintball items, not piecing out.
But as whole.
Spelled
So
piecing wrong. That as whole make offers. So he wants to sell all of it at once. So he's got
CO2 tanks.
looks like
pistols.
two spiders, full 5 CO2 tanks, an old Stingray, I think.
A mask that would kill you.
Yeah, several masks that are absolutely no good. Paintballs. some extra barrels, and 3 gravity-fed hoppers.
Nobody wants your CO2 tanks because does anyone
Some people do.
fill CO2 tanks?
3 Rivers fills CO2 tanks.
Do they?
Yep.
And nobody wants your stupid paintball.
So this guy's selling 3 CO2 tanks and a Spider Sonics. Old school. I got a Spider Sonics right up here. For $50. That's worth about 5.
Nobody wants your CO2 tanks.
Someone's selling a Geo.
That's
Planet
pretty
Eclipse
good.
Geo. For $300. I would say that is too much.
I don't know.
But not excessively. But this person has been to 3 Rivers D-Day. You can see the sticker in the background.
That is very true.
But he's showing there, but he doesn't show the shot count. But that's not terrible. It's a good gun. I don't know if it's quite worth $300, but it's not bad by any means. He's not very far away from us either. He's pretty close.
What
See.
about that $10 thing? You didn't click that.
I didn't. It is a Orion
Look at that cute old
CO2
hopper.
tank and just standard JT mask.
That's worth $10.
It's probably worth $10. That's why I didn't click on it, because it's not. You're not really.
What
making
is
fun of
this
it.
now?
Let's see. Empire EVS plus visor plus clear and yellow lenses plus lens case, for $80.
I'll take an EVS for $80.
And that's not bad. Aspire 3 for $180. That seems a bit much.
Look, it's got
Ninja
paint on it.
4500 SL V2 reg, $180. Gauge is busted, but it literally happened on day 1 when I bought the tank, and it's functioned perfectly since. Yeah, but $180 for a used tank? Like, what's the expiration on that tank?
Also, he's rating them out of 10, so the Empire EVS is an 8 out of 10.
Oh, there it is.
The Black Spire.
June of 16, so that's got 2 more years until it needs checked. So I still think that's
a
too
lot of
much,
money, considering that you can get
a brand new one.
A brand new one for $240. I think yours was
Let's see.
$240.
CS1 for $500. That's a bit much, but not too bad.
With is that 180,000?
180,000, yeah, shots.
That's one day for Clark.
There you go, Clark. You get a CS1 for $500. Pants, jersey, head accessories,
That's a nice
pod
band.
pack,
Pop out. Freak barrel
freak
kit.
kit. What's he selling that freak kit for?
What's he selling that bag
Freak
for?
kit for $60. That's not bad. Caddy
50?
for $10. So he's got some reasonable stuff on here. So that's a good one. And Highland Park. That's not far from here either.
What about this one for 100? That looks like
100 or best offer. We talked about this last week.
okay.
Yeah, it's
I don't remember.
a Spider, a Tippmann 98, and a Tippmann A5 for $100. Actually, no, $100 for the Spider, $100 for the A5, and $50 for the Tippmann. Wow, I wouldn't pay $100 for all 3 of them. These people are ridiculous. We went from 5 viewers to 3, so we actually went down.
Well, we have 4 viewers. We have 4 watching right now.
Obviously not.
That says 4 watching.
Anyone that's here, say hello.
We have 4.
Now it went up to 4. Even if you already said hello, say it again, so we know you're here. But yeah, so I guess we're done making fun of things now. We'll get on to talking about things. So first little thing I wanted to mention, I just thought it was exciting.
Thank you, Xavier. Xavier's watching.
Is I got another
Look at
Another
this
brass
knee. I
single
didn't
town.
realize how bright that barrel
Yeah.
plug was.
I got this from 3 Rivers. Shout out to Phil. And it's got an adapter
Thank
on
you,
it
Minion.
for a full size CO2 tank. I don't know if it can run air. I'm gonna try it just to see what it does. But hey, baby boy.
Look at this cute little elbow.
Yeah, that's the way I used to do it. Used to have
And
the
you
elbows.
got this
It didn't
for
go straight
free,
down.
and what did you spend? 45 on that one?
Yeah, but that went to Goodwill. This was free.
I understand. I am
I saw
angry
2 of them
about
hanging on the wall, and
Loki wants it.
I went to Phil and I said, Phil, what's with those brass eagle talons? And he said, those used to be rentals. We've gotten rid of a whole lot of them. And I was like, well, if you don't use them anymore, can I have it? Or have one? And he said, no, we only have one left. I said, no, there's 2 back there. He said, well, then yeah, you can. And here we go. So, big shout out to Phil for
Hi, Alex.
having me another one there. It is cute. It was the first paintball gun I ever owned. Was a brass eagle talon. So I'm a fan of them. I really want to take one of them out into the field just to use them one of these
Well, you
days.
probably should use the one that has the
I'll use the one
air
Phil gave me
Yeah.
because
Don't use the one that you bought.
yeah, exactly. But so yeah, we wanted to talk today about over the weekend. We played at Day of Days at Three Rivers Paintball.
Which was the 5th annual, right? 2014.
14 was the first one, I believe, at Three Rivers. So yeah, it'd be the 5th. No, yeah,
14, 15,
No, it'd be
16,
the 6th.
17. Yeah, the 6th.
it'd be the 6th.
Sorry.
The
Missed
6th
a
one.
year.
Because that was the 4th time that you've generaled,
Yeah.
and we played one before that, and there was one before that before we played. So, so we did not intend on generaling this game.
No, we didn't.
We
We
as we've talked about in the last 2 weeks or so, I was in contact with who was supposed to be general for the American team, and he didn't really participate with us or with me about strategizing or anything, which we thought was very odd. We talked about that last week, so I won't go into it, but we got there the morning of, expecting to talk to him because he said he was going to tell us more the day of, and a shadow comes over to us. That's his that's his tag.
His name.
Call sign, and he comes over and he says, hey, they just asked me to general because apparently Adam hurt his shoulder or something along those lines. I need you guys' help. And I was like, well, hey, that's okay. We'll XO for you. A-Dog was just going to take pictures, but if you need someone to stand in the tent while you go out and play, A-Dog will do it happily. And he was like, yeah, absolutely, you do it. And so we were going to do it, and then I was talking to Tim from Bad Company, and I was like, apparently, we're general now? And he said, well, I actually thought that that Mary and James were going to do it. I think Adam contacted them about it. I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess we'll find out. And then Mary and James did show up, and Adam had asked them, but I told them that A-Dog would be happy to just stand in the tent because she doesn't really want to play D-Day because it's not really her game style. And Mary said, well, yeah, go ahead, and if she gets bored at any point, just let me know and I'll take over. I was like, she's not going to get bored in there.
And I didn't get bored.
So A-Dog ended up generaling. So the morning of, hey.
Walking the dog, get a call at 8:30. Hey, you're generaling.
You're general, by the way.
Okay.
So
okay, why?
We ended up generaling. This is the 4th year in a row. First as American team, or the Allies. Paparoon. I had decided we were going to be Canadian that day, but because she ended up generaling, Eisenhower was American, so you know how that goes.
Sit.
What's up, Lokadoo?
Sit and stop being mute.
I was still Canadian though. I was representing the Great White North. What, baby boy? Hush. There's no need for that.
Go get me a toy.
Are you a hot pup? It is pretty humid in here, I know.
He's a hot pup.
Where was I going? What was I saying?
You were generaling. You're being Canada.
Oh yeah, first as the United States, 4th in general, because we did 3 years of Germany, and we wanted, as many of you know, we wanted to general America anyway. We wanted to command the Allies and see if we could win that way because we had won twice as Germany, but it wasn't working out, and then it did. So that was fun. That was good.
I enjoyed myself.
I mean, it sucks that Adam is hurt. I still don't know exactly what he did.
So apparently, from what Smiley was telling us, is that when you called me on the phone, you said he had broken his collarbone, and my initial thought was, if I would have broken my collarbone, I would have sat in that tent. And then when Smiley was talking about, apparently he was stapling carpet, and because of all of the pressure that was released from the staple gun, he really jacked up like his entire arm, like all of the tendons in his forearm, where like he couldn't even hold his arm up, like it was just kind of dangling. That's what, so I don't know the whole story. That's what I got from Smiley. I hope Adam is okay. I hope that whatever is happening. Loki baby, I'm talking to the nice people. Yes, I love you. Hopefully he's okay. But I enjoyed all of the journaling that happened.
Indeed. So, I had a few broad. I had three specific things that I had planned that I wanted to talk to Adam about if he asked. And so I explained those plans to everybody that needed to know, and they did try to execute them, and they did not work the way I'd hoped. I don't think they were quite executed right. That's partly my fault for not leading it, partly my fault for not explaining as carefully as maybe I should have. Partly just that's what happened, and then probably about 50% of it is just they didn't do it right. But they did what they could. They did what they could, and it worked out. And like they did well with what they did do. It just wasn't what I wanted. But the beach did not go as we'd hoped.
No.
I think honestly there just weren't enough players on either team
I don't think
to do what I wanted to do. I think it's part of it.
Also, there was a lot of cheating.
Apparently there was a lot of cheating. I'm told that there were 3 specific Germans at the end that would get hit in the face mask and just wipe it off. I didn't see it myself. I can only go on what my teammates said. But I'm told that happened.
Who said it, the 2 that came to me, are not somebody that would say people were wiping and then not wiping.
So, there's that. Dalton did manage to grab the flag. There was one flag
Go,
that he
Dalton.
get up there and grab it.
Go,
But he couldn't get it out of the holster. And then he got shot. So, shout out to Dalton for actually getting there. But unfortunately, we didn't get the points for it, and then he got hit. And then time ran out. I would have been behind him along with a couple other people, but my shoe fell off. So, I had to stop and get my shoe. And then by the time I got my shoe back on, the buzzer rang. So, that sucked. And then I think the 2 others that were with us both got shot.
But also our plan was not to take the beach in any record time.
We actually wanted to take our good old time.
We told them to take their good old time because we wanted them to waste paint and air. And I guess the German general did it 1 year in 18 minutes, and he was all proud of himself for that. And I was like, I don't care if you win. I'm going to quote Fast and Furious, by an inch or a mile. Winning is still winning. So whether we would have taken that flag at 39 and 30 seconds or in 5 minutes, we still pull that flag.
That's right. Last year, the
the
Allies got it in the last 20 seconds.
I think the last 40.
It was the very last minute, just a couple of seconds left in the game, but they got the points for it. So
it doesn't matter.
You still win either way, but we did not. Unfortunately, we did not win the beach. So we started out with 0 points for the main game. And the way that points work for this game are the Allies have to get 2,000 at the end of the day to win. The Germans don't gain points. They just take points away from the Allies. We ended the day with 2,820 points. So 820 points more than we needed. So go us. But in the meantime, so this is the point of
Can
the day.
I make one?
You wish to interject?
I wish to interject for just 1 second. I know he's not
One.
watching. I know he's not watching at the present moment, but if he ever sees this, Whiskey Squad does not like going to Three Rivers anymore for their reasons. I'm not
Various
gonna,
reasons.
For various reasons, I'm not going to mention it because it doesn't need to be brought up. Drama does not need to be spewed. But Boner was there, and Boner decided that he wanted to relax a little bit, and he ran 2 side missions for me back to back, and got all the points for them. And I wanted to give a shout out to Boner because he was awesome the last, I want to say, 2 hours of the game.
What about all the points I scored for us?
Yes, you scored a ton of points for us. And we would have won without you. That is a given.
I brought that in.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so this is our award, by the way. Or A-Dog's award, anyway. She was general, so she got the award.
And I just want to say that I've won 3 in a row. First woman to win D-Day. First woman German general to win D-Day. And then first woman American to win D-Day. Woo woo! That's all I gotta say. I'm sorry.
And we're tied for first place. Smiley has 3 wins. We have 3 wins. So that's good for us.
Our little dollar store for it.
No, he said those are definitely not by a dollar store. But so at lunchtime, we were winning by quite a bit.
We had to be about
grab that there map.
2,900, roughly, give or take.
Upside down. I mean, not that it really matters, but
so
looking at the map here, let's see if we can see this properly. Can we see this properly? Bring it over this way. Okay, so on the map here,
this is the hyperball field. This is the creek bed, obviously. That's Castle. That's Plaintail. Tower and Tank.
So anyone familiar with the field, that gives you an idea of where everything is. But at lunchtime, at lunch break, which was 2:00, let me give you some background first. You can take, so America starts with this territory, and if they win the beach, they start with Alpha as well. We didn't, so we just started with Charlie. Germany owns everything else. Everything else is a German territory to start the day. You can only capture two territories at a time. It's a 15-minute process, and you can only do adjacent to the ones you already own. So the first ones we could only do was Delta, or Foxtrot, or Bravo. Those are the only 3 we could have gone into first. So by lunchtime, we can come over a little farther. We owned everything except Point Mike and Kilo.
Mike is where their spawn is.
Yeah, their spawn is in Mike. Kilo is the hyperball field. We owned everything else.
And to give a little background of how the game works, once you take a territory or you complete a side mission, you get a card. Now, cards are worth points.
Depending on which card it
Between
is.
5 and 20. But then you can also turn specific combinations of cards in. Now, one of the combinations is 2, I believe, of...
It doesn't matter what it is.
Every card except for 1 and then 1 of that card. You cannot use it in the last hour. And it basically, when you turn it in, it gives you the territory. You don't have to fight over it. You don't have to put it in a play.
It's an instant territory
flag.
grab. So normally the flag takes 15 minutes to switch, and you may or may not actually get it in that time. This card just allows you to flip it from German to American, or vice versa.
Also, Mike is worth 400, Kilo's worth 500, and the combination of points for the cards that you have to hand in to be able to just take a territory is 60 points. So at lunch, I go to Dan, and I was calculating mathematically in my head, and I was like, why don't we just take Mike? Just take it. Why not? And then I came back and I was like, well, Kilo's worth more. Why don't we take Kilo? And then we started strategy, and I will let you finish.
So basically what we determined was even though Kilo is worth more, if you can only capture adjacent territories, then what we should do is take Mike, and that way the only territory they can capture right away is Lima, because that's the only one adjacent to Kilo. So that would trap them. Physically, their people would be on the field everywhere, but as far as points goes, as far as territory actually owning by flag, the only one they could take would be Lima. But the one thing I was worried about was that they wouldn't actually allow us to take Mike because that's their spawn. As far as I know, it's never been taken before, and even if it could be taken, could you do it? Could you do it with the cards? But on the other hand, it is worth points. So why would it be worth points if you can't actually take it? So we went to Mike, who runs 68 caliber.
Adam put it into play, or tried to put it into play last year in like the last 35 minutes. So it can be put into play. But continue, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
So we went to Mike about that, to talk to him about it, tell him what our idea was, make sure we were able to do it, ask the questions we needed to ask, and just let him know this is our plan. So as soon as the buzzer goes, we're turning in cards to capture Mike. So there's no time for them to put other ones into play before we've had time to turn it in. So he knew right away, we turn it in, we own it, so the only thing they could take is Lima.
And so Mike was sitting with other people who work at 68 caliber. I don't know exactly what they do at 68 caliber, but they're all 68 caliber members or employees or whatever word you want to use.
So Mike decided that he would allow us to take it. We would get the points for it, but they would still be able to capture adjacent territories from Mike because it's their spawn. So even if we had taken it, they'd still be able to take just as much.
Now, there's 4 adjacent territories next to Mike. There's Oscar, November, India, and Lima. So they still have plenty of things to take.
Right. So we decided with that in mind, all right, well then let's take Kilo, let's get the 500 points for it, make it one less territory they own, because either way they could go out for Mike. But one of the 68 caliber guys decided to put in his 2 cents, which is fine. I mean, we went to them to discuss it. We wanted to discuss it. It was the what he discussed that is of the topic today.
He said it to us.
You need a quieter toy, pup. That toy's too loud.
So we're mentioning in our plan, and we purposefully go talk to Mike so that he knows what's going on, to make sure we're able to do it. And we get called assholes, and not in a like joking manner. He was absolutely serious. He's like, well, if you want to be assholes about it, and he was like, you're gonna take some little kid he didn't use the word little, he was like, you're gonna take kids who've never played here before, they're gonna get slaughtered and have no way of coming back, and they're never gonna want to play again. And I was like, that's not my fault, that's the general's fault, because he's done nothing all day. He put themselves in this scenario. I've taught children. I am, first of all, appalled with all of this participation bullshit. You lost. You know what happens when I lose? I come back in a fit of rage and I become better.
As she did the first time we generaled.
Because losing just is another way to get better at something. You don't go up against teams that are better than you. Like, you're not just going to go play teams that are worse than you so that you can annihilate or kick them off the map. You go against teams that have experience and who are better. Okay, so maybe your general should have done something about it, and I explained.
So we'll get to that part, though.
Okay, go ahead.
We'll get to the general part. So it was 2 or 3 times that this man decided that we were assholes, or said that we were assholes out loud. He said, well, if you want to be assholes about it, that was the first thing. And then a little bit later he said that would be a real asshole move, I think is what it was. And then the third time that I heard was doing that would make you real assholes.
Then he said, okay, be assholes then.
Something that was after.
That's what he said to me.
That was after I had walked away, so I didn't hear that one.
Now, you want to call me a bitch? You want to use the C word with me? Fine, because I'm competitive and I want to win. Do not call me an asshole on a paintball field for how I play a game. Because I respect every role on that field. I want kids to come back and continue to play. Because he mentioned, he was like, well, then who are you going to play against? Well, little kids don't make up the entire paintball community.
And not to mention the fact that out of the rental players, there were... Okay, so let's mention how many people there were there. Altogether, at max, 40 people per team. For the beach landing, I counted 27. Now, I know we added some more people later, but I counted 27 on the Allies, including the two of us. 27. How many rentals can there be? But no, it was, and Eric, in response to you, it was not Bricktop that said that. Bricktop was not part of this conversation. It was a 68 caliber ref, I guess is what they are.
And actually, Bricktop did do something honorable, which we'll talk about later.
So I started wondering, what exactly did this man want us to do? So, a little bit more context for how the game plays. At the beginning of so there's the beach landing, which is kind of a mini game. In the main game, the Americans start at their spawn, and the Germans, while their spawn is where it is, they start at the castle, which is the center of the field.
And if you've ever been to 3rs, basically their spawn is behind where the helicopter is on Tire Field, and the castle, obviously, if you know where the castle is.
Center of the field. So they control, they start in the center, we start on one end. So you kind of meet like 2/3, 3/4 of the way up the field. So physically, the actual people, the players, are all the way up there on that line. But, territories are different. So territories, you have to go get the flag. And at the beginning, like I said, everything is German except one or possibly two territories. So after lunch, we owned all but those two. We had pushed them back, obviously. In fact, so close that we were pretty much on their spawn, which I'll grant is not great. I didn't realize that had happened. So I did give the order later, like, don't go past the creek line if we can help it. Try to stay there.
Also, it was
definitely
funny.
Don't go past the road. We actually weren't even allowed to go past the road at that point. The refs officially declared couldn't go past the road, which makes a lot of sense. I'm with it. But I was like, what does he want us to do? Does he want us to just let them take back the territories? Like, because after lunch, we still owned all the territory, even though they start in the castle again. So kind of lunch is like a soft reset. We started our spawn, they started in the castle again. But we still owned all the territories that we had gained in the morning. So did he want us to just like sit back and let them hold on to all the land and take the territories back? Is that what he wanted? Or was he specifically talking about don't push them so far, don't take back the actual land back and get them back to their spawn? That would make a little bit more sense to me, but that's not what he said. He was talking about points. But either way, even if it was pushing them back to their spawn, don't then talk to them about being better, I guess. Right. I know that sounds mean, but it's like...
And that...
We physically had to get them out of the way, because we have to outplay them to get them to that point. So maybe instead of calling us assholes because we're better, you should talk to them, both their general and the players, about strategy and how to play better. Because it's not like we had more people than them.
Or
it's not even,
like we still had...
I don't think our quality of player was much better than them either.
No.
We had some very good players on our team, no doubt, but so did they.
Also, there were maybe 10 people under the age of 18 on that field. And I think the majority of them were on our team because they came after lunch and there was a group of 10 people that were, maybe at least 4 of them were under 18. So don't talk about little kids. Also, where's the general? You're getting your asses handed to you because the general's not doing anything. And I'm sorry, when I'm in that tent, I'm competitive. I want to win. I'm not going to sit back. Also, in my mind, I lost the beach. That's negative 600 points in my head.
It's not. It's just.
I know it's not. But in my head, that's what it was. So I needed to come out in a range of fury. And that's what I did. I played fair. I didn't do anything that was cheating. Anything that I was confused about, I asked a question before I put it into play. And I did side missions, and I had radios. Are you going to tell me that now I can't have a radio on the field because they didn't have any radios? That's not my problem.
No one said anything about that up to us when we didn't have any radios. When our first year, we did have radios, but there were only 3 of us. It was the 2 of us and John. Those were the only radios on the German team. The Americans had a whole bunch of radios. Almost the whole team, I swear, had radios.
Also,
no
German
one said anything
General
about that.
has played D-Day before. He could have brought radios.
He XO'd last year, so it's not like he didn't know what he was doing. He XO'd for the Americans last year, so he knows how to play it. He knows the game. But, so essentially, I wanted to know, what did he want us to do or to not do to not be assholes? So Mike was our contact in our spawn. He was there with A-Dog in the tent. And so
I love you.
I actually asked him, I said, Mike, I don't want to make a big thing about it, but I'm wondering, what does he want? I don't know his name. That's why I keep calling him. I don't know his name. So I asked Mike, what does he want us to do to equalize her? Or, like, what is it that he wants? Does he want us to just give them territories back? Does he want us to just let them take them? And Mike said, I'm not quite sure, but I know if you let them, that would be... What word did he use?
I don't remember. But essentially downgrading. Like, that would be...
It'd be... I think he said it would be insulting.
It'd be insulting.
It would be insulting to the Germans.
And it is insulting.
I'd be insulted.
I'd be insulted, too. I want you to bring your A game. I don't want to win because I beat somebody that didn't try or that wasn't good enough. I want to win knowing that I worked my ass off to win.
I don't want to tie because they let me. I'd rather lose, honestly. So Mike said he wasn't sure. He knew that if we just let them take territories, he would consider that insulting. We certainly would.
Also, what's wrong with losing? Nobody knows how to lose anymore.
But we'll get back to that part.
It angers me. I'm angry.
So Mike didn't have an answer. Losing, I do know how the losing feels. It sucks, but you get better. That makes you get better. So I still, to this point, don't know what he would have wanted us to do. I can only assume what he meant was to not get them all the way back trapped into their spawn because the little kids wouldn't have fun. Which, again, I somewhat understand that. Being trapped in your spawn is never fun. We did try to pull that back. But we had to play through them to do that. Again, after lunch, they started in the middle of the field. So we had to push them a whole half a field, if not more, actually. By the time everyone actually collides, it's like 2/3 of the field, all the way back to their spawn. What do you want me to do? Tell my players don't do that. Don't take the land back.
And, if you've played against James and Tim, who are very respectful players, they want everybody to have a good time, but they're also competitive. And if you tell them, don't play your game so that they can, not feel like they're getting their asses handed to them, I would really hope that James and Tim would both laugh in your face.
They're some of the nicest people I know.
They're ridiculously nice. You couldn't find better men. Whatever mama raised those two men.
So that everyone can see, our spawn, Charlie. Their spawn is way over there. but they start in the castle right there. So by the time the line collides, I actually told my team I expected the line to show up somewhere right around here. At the beginning of the game and after lunch again. So we had to literally push them from here, thereabouts, more or less right there, all the way back to there. We had to push their players back that far.
Also, even if we took this in the beginning, that's their spawn. I could have taken this and they could have immediately been, I'm going to put that back into play. And try to take it.
So, did he want us to stop at some point? Like, don't go past the castle? Tell my players, hey, you aren't allowed to cross the creek? Or is that what he wanted? And the problem with that is... The problem with telling my players, which, by the way, I did actually tell them, try to form the line along the creek. We did push past it again. But the creek line... That flag right there, these aren't quite right. So that flag is actually about there. This flag is on that side of the creek. And India, this flag, is on that side of the creek. So if our players all stopped at the creek line, we would have lost the game. Because they would get the flags, most likely. And that's enough points that they would win. So if we had stopped at the creek line, which is like the only legitimate place to stop at that point, we would not have won. So, is that what he wanted? I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I don't know if that's what he wanted or not. I don't know. You guys tell me. Would you, if you were on the German team and you were losing before lunch by that much, and we, the Allies, stopped pushing. We formed our line at a certain point. Didn't go any farther, and it takes about 15 minutes to take a flag back. You only take 2 at a time. It's a 5-minute hold, and then the flag goes in, and you have 10 minutes to flip it to your side. At the end of that 10 minutes, whoever controls the flag gets the territory and gets the points. So if we had stopped at, for instance, the castle or the creek line or wherever, they would have taken all the territories behind there. And that would have made the Germans win because we wouldn't have had enough points at that point to win. If we had done that, as this man suggests, if you were on the German team, how would you have felt? You won the game. But you did it because we physically stopped and just let you win. How would that make you feel? I know I would be super pissed.
I would be super pissed as well.
But how do you guys feel? What would you have thought?
My annoyance comes from the fact that you and I spend hours strategizing. You will wake me up at 1 o'clock in the morning. Hey, dog, I have an idea. Because you love that. So why should anybody be penalized because we plan and talk about it and think about strategy when we know we're going to be generaling? I'm sorry that I have experience playing that game and that I want to win. That I use my passion and my mathematical ability to win a game. It's a game. Also, it's a game. Get the fuck over it. Excuse my French. If you're going to really
That's not French. That's English.
If you're really going to be that angry because you lost a game, get over it. It's a game.
Now, I will specifically mention on that point, none of the players said anything.
And neither did the general.
Neither did the general.
I
was counting him as player.
Oh, okay.
None of them said anything in either way as far as, hey, you guys are beating us too badly or being a sportsman, anything like that. It was great sportsmen on both teams. It was a great day as far as sportsmanship goes, honestly.
It was an absolute
I saw a lot of good stuff. We joked around with a whole lot of Germans. There were 3 people specifically that were going to be on our team, but they had to switch. And all day I was calling them turncoats and everything, and you know, it was a good time. And honestly, all around it was great sportsmanship. But so let's see. We have a couple of comments. So Dalton says, "Nah, keep whooping so they learn to get better."
I agree.
Alex says, "Honestly, I hate when BS like that happens, and usually stuff like that makes me not want to go to certain games. At the end of the day, I don't care who wins. I want a fair and fun game."
Agree with that too.
Alex, I do agree with that, but I'm not quite sure where you stand on the whole letting them win thing. Dalton says, "I think we have all been in both positions." Alex then said, "Plus, I don't mind fighting from spawn sometimes because it's easier to do suicide runs." Okay, so that kind of clarifies where you are. And then Xavier said, "Last Kilo 69 game, my side basically lived trapped in spawn both days. I wouldn't have had any more fun if they pushed the enemy back. Like you said, I would have been insulted almost if they had." So, like, pushing your way out of spawn obviously is a completely different thing than allowing them to come out.
Minion says, "All I can say is I wish I could have attended the first day I found out about you guys, and my first scenario I ever played, sadly, I couldn't attend."
And that's understandable. Minion, we know why you weren't there. The only thing I would say is in the future, if you could let me know before the night up, like the night before. I don't mind that you weren't there. I understand why you weren't, and it's not a problem. I just didn't know you weren't going to be there until literally the morning of, because I didn't get your text until the next morning because I was asleep. So that's the only thing I would say about that. But so overall, it seems like people agree with us. So I don't know what he wanted.
I don't know what he wanted either. And when you left, he kept calling me an asshole. And knowing the general, you know, I'm going to give him props. At some point, he heard me on the radio. I don't know, like, what happened, because I had switched twice, and he still could hear me. The fact that he even said that, you know, I appreciate that. But I know the type of person he is. And I'm not going to...
they hate us because they ain't us.
I'm not going to throw hate, but don't call me an asshole when the German general is an asshole. Also, where was the German general? At one point...
We'll get into that part.
Like,
so there's a whole lot to get into as far as the Germans lead.
You're criticizing how we're playing, but you're not taking an account of what the Germans did to get to that point.
Right. So we'll get into that, but
I just don't like being called an asshole because I'm not one. I think I play fair. I do not cheat. I do not weasel my way or sweet talk or show a boob to win a game.
Sometimes I wish you would, though.
But you know what I mean. Like, don't call me an asshole on that field.
And so something he had mentioned, I think I mentioned, he said about the little kids. You know, about kids aren't going to have fun. They're not going to come back. So now he does, in his defense, and by him I'm talking again about the 68 caliber guy. He doesn't know us, right? But anyone that does know us know we do a lot for the paintball community, or at least we try to, especially mentoring kids. Look how many children we have on our team. We try to bring people... Look how many people
who are under 18 or under 20 that we have on our team.
And age aside, people that are new to the sport. I mean, Colin, when he came onto our team, had played twice. Jake had played... Once, maybe? I mean, so... And then we bring new people to the field all the time. We mentor little kids.
We've brought numerous people to D-Day alone.
If you look at the pictures from past years, last year and the year before, both of those years especially, look how many people we brought to that game. So the two of us, this year I had to pay. In the past, neither one of us had to pay because we knew we were going to be generaling, and I was XO. But the number of people we brought with us brought them new players and money. And we try to help little kids on the field. Even we talked about last week how people thanked me for only shooting Mother on parents' team once instead of a whole bunch of times. Now, she's not a little kid, obviously, but the point is that I try to be sportsman. I try to make it a fun game. And so to have someone say that because of us, little kids aren't going to want to come back. Just like, it really irks me because I really do my best to make sure that the sport is expanded and with the youth and just new players in general. So that was really, that was the part that annoyed me most. I don't know how you feel about that part. And then the people we have on our team.
Absolutely, because when I taught, I tried to get everybody on the paintball field, and I tried to introduce this sport to them. And if you actually know me, I put up the front that I'm a cocky asshole. If you know me and you've had one conversation with me, you know that I'm not any of that. I work really hard at being good at this game. I work really hard at making you proud, making our team proud, because I'm a short little corgi-shaped woman in a giant man-dominated sport. And I work really hard. And sometimes I feel people just think that I'm this crazy bitch who doesn't really have any talent.
Oh, that part's not true.
And I feel that that's what 68 Caliber thinks. And I joke about how I use my butt to bring men to the field. But in reality, the men who actually follow me have said numerous times how kick-ass I am. I really work hard at not being an asshole and being good at this game and to bring the win to everybody. And I never take that win as my own. I don't win this game. The Americans won that game. James, Mary, all of Bad Company, you, a bunch of walk-ons, Alan, Boner. I would have not been able to win the game in the 3 years that I've won it without the team that is on the field who comes to me and tells me what's going on so that I can implement strategy. And so to call me an asshole on something that I work extremely hard on and to make little kids want to learn how to play, I try to bring everybody onto the field, regardless of what sex, gender, orientation, size, shape, age, come to the paintball field. Because I feel that we are a wonderful family.
And then, okay, so even if you put us aside, you put the two of us aside, look at the other teammates we had. Mary and James run Paint the World, one child at a time. Their business is giving things to kids so that they'll play paintball. And then you have Tim Toy, who I think, like I said earlier, is one of the nicest people I know.
He's the nicest human being I think I've ever met.
And is extremely sportsman and always wants new people. He just recently had a kids' day. Mary and James organized it, but it was at his field to teach little kids who they played for free. We played for free too, I think. Didn't everyone? I think everyone got in for free. But the point is to teach the kids how to play. That was the whole point of the day. That's what they do, and to say that our team. I don't know if he was specifically. I assume he was specifically calling us assholes. Not the whole team.
We were assholes, you and me, and then he called me an asshole more.
So, I don't know. I don't. It doesn't make sense. But so now what A-Dog has mentioned a couple times. I said we'd come back to is the German general. So obviously we're not in that tent. We don't know exactly what happens in there, in the opponent's tent. Because we're not in that tent. But he ran no side missions.
He ran one.
But that was right before lunch. So about 30 minutes before lunch, they finally ran one side mission. What? Why?
Which they didn't complete because Mary is awesome.
Right, we managed to stop it. Wasn't hard for us to do, honestly.
Because the side mission was put into territory that we had a very good hold on.
Right. So why wasn't he running more side missions to take points away from us? I don't understand. That's bad from a generaling point of view, but if you're regarding what we're talking about, if you're gonna call somebody an asshole and making a team lose. and the kids aren't going to want to come back because they didn't have a good time because they lost so badly, maybe instead of pointing to the people that are playing the game properly, you should point to the person who's not giving any fucks at all about the game, and that's the reason their team is losing. Because if he had played with maybe like half as much effort as we did, it would have been extremely close. I don't even know if we would have won. Because we didn't win the beach, it makes it so much harder. That's 600 points. I'm not saying we wouldn't have won. I think we still would have, but it would have been super close. At one point during the day, it was close. She kept saying, "We're gonna lose, we're gonna lose, we're gonna lose," and I was like, "No, we're not." But
I said that.
I was sure we weren't going to, but she was super scared.
Because I play cautiously with my points, and even our mission ref, Adam, and Mike, he was like, "Why are you worried?" And I was like, "Wait a second. I got it after lunch. I don't know what the crazy man's gonna do. He could come out swinging with everything he has." We lost first year generally the last 3 minutes. And it's because there was a side mission on the field and they took Juliet. And because they took Juliet, the side mission was in Juliet, so we didn't have that. We lost in the last 3 minutes. Mostly because of communication, because I don't think anyone knew we were running a side mission.
Right.
Which is my fault. But
did he attempt to take any territories back before lunch? Did he put any flags into play?
No.
So, as I mentioned earlier, the general decides which territories to put into play. You can put no more than 2 into play, but you don't have to put any into play. So at any given time, there can be 4 territories in play. 2 from the Allies and 2 from the Germans.
He ran one side mission. He did not put anything back into play after we had taken it.
Now, to start the day, the only territory he could have put into play, honestly, was Charlie, because that's where our spawn is. That's the only one we control at the beginning of the day. But as time goes on, obviously we took territories, and we started right away. Within the first minute of the game, we had, we'd activated 2 territories, and there's a 5-minute waiting period. So within 15 minutes, we had 2 territories. And then it kept going from there. Why did he not put those back into play at any point and try to take them back? Even if he knew he couldn't, why wouldn't he at least put them into play?
And he could have taken Echo and India, because anytime anyone got out, they were like, they're coming up the right, they're coming up India and Echo. He could have put Echo back into play very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we controlled the pipeline side. So where Zombie Castle, if you've ever been to Zombie Castle and Creek and Plaintail, we kind of had that. We had all of Zombie Field.
That's where our concentration was. Their concentration was on the other side, near side.
He could have taken India and Echo back at any time.
He could have at least, it would have at least been a fight, if nothing else. But he didn't even put any into play before lunch. So that's part of why they were losing so badly.
And at one point, and I don't know when this was, I think it was around noon, 1 o'clock. So we had been playing for maybe an hour, 15 minutes, an hour and a half. Because I can hear over the radio. Adam has his radio because he's connected. Mike obviously has his radio. The general just left the tent and took somebody with him. I don't know who this person was. And walked off the field. So you're calling me an asshole because I'm playing the game. I was in that tent for every moment of that game.
But their general leaves. Now, we don't know why he left. It could have been a legitimate reason. We don't know why he left.
But he didn't come back,
and he
wasn't on the field.
And he didn't leave anyone in the tent to handle it. There was just no one there to even do anything. So the players out on the field are the ones who actually fight the battles. There's no question about that. But you can't gain points if your general doesn't put points up to grab. And the only way to win the game, you could own the whole field physically, but if you don't own the map, you don't win the game, because that's how you get the points.
Also, if you don't run any side missions, even if you take the map.
So, for example, let's say our team, like I said, got all the way up to their spawn. Let's assume that we had trapped them in their spawn because we didn't pull them back at all. But A-Dog was not in the tent. No one was in the tent. Didn't grab any territories. They still would have owned everything except Charlie, even though we owned the entire field. They would have won. So the fact that their general just walked out, and he wasn't doing anything anyway, so I guess it didn't make a difference whether he was there or not. Alex says, a lot of people have different philosophies on how the game should be played, but it definitely shouldn't be frowned upon to win. Also, the Allies usually have it more difficult. That dude can suck it. Well, I like that. They do have a more difficult. So the way it's laid out there, I'm not going to pull the map up again, but essentially, the territories that are closer to Allied spawn are worth a whole lot less than all the ones that are down near German spawn. The German spawn ones are worth like 300, 400, 500. The ones up, the whole other like 2/3 of the field, there's one that's worth 3, one that's worth 4, and the other ones are all worth 100. So yes, it is harder for the Allies. So you have to gain a lot more ground to get as many points. But my point on that one is, it's not our fault that we won as much as we did. It's a joint between we played better, or our team played better, and then A-Dog ran the points better than, and that's the big one as far as points go, because again, you can own the whole field and not win the game. We put the effort in, and they didn't. So if you're going to call someone an asshole for one team winning or losing, maybe it's not the ones who played the game properly, it's the one who didn't put any effort in at all.
Also, we came to them and said, this is our strategy. Let me know if we can do this. We could have just done it.
Mm-hmm.
We could have said, screw everything. I'm going to push you back so hard you can't come back. And even after being called an asshole, could have been an asshole.
And at one point, someone did come to me and say, hey, we can get up behind their spawn and take the, and basically have them almost completely surrounded and just shoot into their spawn. Do you want us to go do that or just harass them? And I don't think he meant like literally trap them in the spawn. I think he meant just like
spook them.
Yeah, kind of just go back there, shoot them a couple of times and back away. And I said, no, we've already been called assholes for winning, so let's not do that. He was like, who called you an asshole? And I told him, and he was like, oh, wow, okay. That was Smiley, who had, like I said, he has generaled America a couple of times, 3 times.
And he's won 3. He's...
So I think that basically what it comes down to is, even if they have even if 68 caliber has Dave Days at Three Rivers again, we're not going to go. First of all, I don't think they're going to have it again. Every year is smaller than the previous year because the game doesn't change at all. But even if they do, I don't think we're going back because it just sits obviously very badly with us. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it.
Maybe instead of criticizing how we general, because I mean, at some point, you learn the game. Like, it only takes one loss or one time to play before you know exactly how that game is played.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't change anything. And they don't even pay attention or put effort to change anything. Mike said, oh, I have to review this. I haven't read it in a while. Why are you not reading it the night before to make sure you can tell me what's going on? And then we always ask questions that are like, oh, I've never thought of that before. You own a paintball production company. You created this game and you didn't think of the scenarios that could have happened? Because I know for a fact, Jen tears apart Kivo's scenarios, and not in a negative fashion. She goes up to him and she's like, well, what happens if this happens? Or what about this? So you're not having somebody say, well, what if they come up with this question? Or what if this happens? You're not putting forth the effort to care about this game, and then you're going to criticize me for how I'm playing it? Please don't. Please don't call me an asshole. because I'm not one. You can call me a bitch till you're blue in the face. You can say that I'm cocky and that I'm too competitive for my own good. And probably another slew of awful things to say about me. Don't call me an asshole on the paintball field, because I'm not one.
Indeed. It is sad to see my first event go sadly. Yes, it is sad to see it sadly. Which, yeah, it does suck because, as we've mentioned before, Dave Days was the first event we ever did as a team. We won Most Valuable Team there at that first event. Not to mention the fact that she proposed to me after that first one. So that for all of those reasons, it was a big deal. And then it's been one of our biggest events as far as teams go for a long time. The only one that was small was 2016, where there was just the three of us. But that was a big deal for us because that was the first game she'd ever generaled. So that was a big deal. The next year we had a lot of people. It was the first year we ever won a generalship. So that was a big deal. The year after that was the year of Queen. She won 3 different D-Day scenarios, so that was a big year. And then this year, we just wanted to try America. We ended up generaling, and it was a big deal because we won again. And as the Allies, not to mention the fact that we really hadn't put in the effort because we weren't planning on generaling. And the general that was supposed to be there didn't seem interested in hearing our points of view. But despite all that, even if they have it again, I don't plan on going. Which does suck. It is sad, but there you have it. So 68 caliber, congratulations. You've lost yourselves some players. Yeah, amongst many others that you guys have lost. Just because of, like A-Dog said, the game really doesn't change. It doesn't change. And not only that, I think the reasons that they're losing players is the game is the same every year. It legitimately is exactly the same every year. But on top of that, despite the fact that it doesn't change, the average player has no idea what's going on. The only reason, like the first year that we were there, we really had no idea how points worked or anything like that. We
did not have a good time at all.
We try our best to explain to the players what's going on, what they're supposed to be doing, and why they're supposed to be doing it. There's a whole lot of rules, but I just try to give them like the basics. Hey, there's a flag. It's going to go and play here. You need to hold it for 10 minutes.
This was also the first year, and I don't know if it's the way the American spawn is set up versus the German. So the German spawn, you have your command tent, and then you have a tented area in front of that. That's where you go to take your mask off, put your gun to the side, and breathe. So you can walk up straight to my tent. The American spawn, the command tent is inside the spawn tent. And I don't think people can really know that they go into it. Like, this was the first year I did not know who to give MVT to. Because there's always some group of boys that come up to me and say, what can I do? What do you want me to do? This is what's happening on the field. Where should I go? Or is there a mission I can do? And this was the first year nobody came up to me. So I felt like an ass when it came to giving out awards because I had no idea who to give that to.
The obvious choice was Bad Company, but we do try to avoid giving the awards to the big teams all the time because if the same teams win the awards all the time, again, going back to we try to bring new people in, we'd rather give it to a group of kids or new players and say, hey, you guys did great. Even though you're not a real team, we're making a team. Like Team Blonde Boys.
Team Bearded Men.
And so...
I think I called them Bearded Boys.
There were even like the first year Luke ended up getting the award, or was one of the members to get the award for most valuable team. It was just a group of people. They didn't even know each other, but they held a territory when there was an airdrop. And so we gave it to them as a group, and Luke was one of them. We didn't know him at the time. And so
and then this guy like screamed out, and there were, I guess, these 3 guys from the University of Akron. I guess they play for the University of Akron.
Mm-hmm.
And like he sounded, the tone of his voice sounded like I should have known who the hell they were.
I didn't get that.
He was very excited. I take things incorrectly, though. We all know this. But, like, I had no idea. And usually I can pinpoint 3 boys that are together, who came together, or just ran something together, that I can give a team.
Her point is no one came and asked what they could do, other than bad company, really. And I think, honestly, the reason for that is at no one point did we have a whole lot of people at spawn.
That's true.
Because I don't know what it was. We legitimately just wiped them.
Because you
the whole day.
You asked me at one point, who's at spawn? And I was like, there's 2 people. I said there was no one. There was actually 2 people. Boner was at spawn, and Alan was at spawn. And Alan couldn't go anymore. And Boner wasn't really playing until I needed somebody to run a side mission. And I was like, where are all these people? Are like
so
they not getting out? Are they leaving?
They just weren't getting out. They were still in the field. So I think that's why you didn't see them to ask. No one was asking questions because they weren't there to ask you the questions. They were still out in the field. So I guess that's why.
Because you get.
But we did end up giving it to those Akron guys. We gave Mary radio because she was always in communication.
She was always in communication.
We gave Joe. Hey.
Lokadoo off.
We gave Joe from Bad Company Sportsmanship Award. And then most valuable player we gave to somebody who
his name was Mike.
Yeah, and he had talked with me a lot.
He was
about
always,
what to do.
Anytime he was in spawn, he was talking to me. And then his nephew got Young Gun because they added that this year.
Yeah.
But he was in communication. He had radios, so he was in communication with his wife and his nephew. And she was awesome too.
And speaking of the Young Gun, so we gave the Young Gun award to this kid, and then I ended up in the raffle winning free entry to the next event, or another event of the year, and I gave it to that kid. So don't tell me I'm an asshole because I don't encourage kids to play the game. If that was true, I would have kept that for myself because without it, I have to pay to get in to the next event or the event after, whichever one I would have used it for. I could have kept it for myself because I do intend to go to 2 more events there this year. But I gave it away, so now I have to spend $45 each so that kid could play for free. But yeah, I'm an asshole because I don't encourage kids to play. Let's see, we have another comment here. It's all about management. A poorly run game or field eventually fail, as we've talked about many times. So, yes, you are absolutely correct on that. So it did end up winning. We had 2,820 points. We needed 2,000 to win. So congratulations to us. It ended. They had 3 territories. They had Mike, Lima, and Kilo. At the end of the day, we had everything else.
I had 20 cards.
And
they had 6. I think.
20 cards. You get a card every time you win or keep a territory. So we womped on the enemy, which in general is just fun, but specifically with who was the commander.
It was real fun for me. I'm sorry.
And we're not.
It was.
And
there are
other people.
The commander's name, and we will not.
There are other people on our team who felt the same way. In that one specific person told me that, basically what happened is what he wanted to happen because he wanted to stomp on them, or the general specifically, and the reason he was there was to do that. I have noticed that this person in particular, in recent times, has been coming to more events than I've noticed in the past.
On time.
No, I'm not talking about him.
Oh, okay.
Against that general, specifically so that they could play against him, which is interesting.
That's fun.
It is fun. But that's pretty much all I had to
Did you
wail or complain about today.
Did you want to discuss whether I should get points or not?
Oh, okay. So we do have a question for everybody. So there's still 4 of you here. So we do have a question before we go, regarding tracking of points for the team. So I don't know where to stand on this. I lean towards one way or the other, but I'm not going to say what it was. I'm honestly on the fence about it. So as you guys hopefully know, as far as getting points, you can get points for shooting an opponent. You lose points for getting shot out. You get a certain amount of pointage for starting an objective and a bigger amount of pointage for completing an objective. So for this particular game, participating in a flag, like putting the flag in, or taking theirs out and putting ours in, counted as a start. And if you were there at the end of the 10 minutes and you had won, then you got to complete. So A-Dog's question is, because she was generaling and she actually puts the flags into play.
I'm not the flags. We didn't do the flags. I didn't count the flags. I counted side missions.
I thought you were counting flags.
No, I only counted the side missions.
So for side missions then, so it's side missions then, excuse me. Getting all flustered over here, jeez. Her point is that as general, she puts them into play. They would not be an option. They are literally not in play without her. So your theory is that you should get an objective started
just for starting a side mission,
but not a completed, because she wasn't there to get a completed.
Just to start it.
So
because I don't complete them, but I'm the one that puts them into play.
So what do you guys think? Do you think she should get mission started points for the side missions that were put into play? Yes or no?
And I specifically did not count, because I don't remember how many times I contested Oscar, but I did not count
yep.
the putting the territories into play, because that is part of the game. But the side missions
are not part of the game?
No. So you have to take territory. I guess you don't have to take territory, but I don't think that it would be fair for me to start all of that. Also, I did not count that. Right. I did count how many side missions I started.
So Eric says yeah.
That's the way.
But I don't know what yeah means. Yeah, they should be counted, or yeah, they should not be counted. Please say they should be counted or they should not be counted. So while we're waiting on answers for that, regarding Oscar, I guess a fun little thing we didn't mention. So one of the territories specifically is called Oscar. It's by the Plaintail.
It's the Plaintail, and it runs up to the end of the field.
None of that really matters, though. But the point is, after lunch, when the Germans had finally started actually caring about territories, I guess, and putting them into play, that specific territory, Oscar, was like the battlefield.
It was contested like 6 times.
So, like I said, each flag is a 15-minute process, and Phil told me, so he was running the flags there, and he said, I've literally just been standing here for over an hour, because every time the 15 minutes ended, it would start up again by one team or the other, whichever one had lost the territory would start it up again. And Tim actually told me, he said, I don't know how many times I've done that, but I'm fucking done with it.
I'm done. I'm leaving.
Because it had gone back and forth so many times.
Thank you. That's 2 for me.
So Eric said, should be counted ahead, can't earn points really any other way. And Xavier said, I lean towards yes, they should count. So that's 2 that they should out of 3. So we'll give it to you. I had put it on the sheet as counting them for her. I was leaning towards the no, but like I said, I was fully willing to leave a yes. Also, so I will leave them on there.
We did 8 side missions. And so I think it'd be a little too much to count all of the flag contestations. Because some of that was like, I asked if I should put a flag into play over the walkie. I didn't really do a lot of, I'm doing a, like, I didn't ask your opinion on the side missions all that often. Like, I asked you if you wanted to do them, but I had a plan and I picked everything. So, and there were only 8 side missions. Regardless, everyone else still beat me in the scores.
It's true. I did kick some ass that day as far as my points go. I think I had like 15 point something points for the day. So
it's not like I'm gonna win anything.
Good job to me. Dalton, please get back to me with your statistics for the day. Like how many kills, how many deaths, how many flag completions and things you had. I have you right now down for 2 starts and 2 finishes because I know that's what you did. But I'm sure you did more. His argument against it counting would be that you are literally the only person who can do that as the general. Like, no one else can put that into play. And while that is mostly true, technically whoever's in the tent is in charge can do it. So, like, if she had left and I was in there, I could have done it. Or if she had left and Alan was still in there, Alan could have done it.
But I feel that...
But she's the one who, yes, does it.
I feel that, say you were in there. Say you were like, I'm starting a side mission, and then I'm going to go start the side mission. I think you should get 2 points for that. And I would have given you 2 points for that. If you would have said, I want this in play to Mike, and then you went and you completed it. So you started it twice and you got a completion.
Hey, Pupper.
I would have given you 3 points for that. Or 2 points for...
And Eric, if you do me a favor and get in contact with our insurance agent there, find out what's going on with him because
I didn't see him all day.
Well, that's irregardless. I know you don't think that you don't like that word.
That's not a word.
Regardless of that.
Doesn't exist.
Regardless of that, he said something to me after the game.
I don't hate you, love.
He said something to me after the game that just was weird. So just check on him, see what's going on with him, because he like rushed out of there. We were taking pictures and stuff. He's not in any of the pictures that we took after the game of the awards or anything.
We were making fun of him kind of hardcore, but we were absolutely making fun of him and not like, I don't know, we may have come off all mean to him.
Well, he was doing stupid things. He was doing very stupid things. And
he was making fun of himself. So.
I actually did get mad at him about 2 things, which I'll mention real quick, and then we're going to go because we're pretty much done for the night. But
it's also ice cream time.
One was, as everyone hopefully knows, there's not much I require of my teammates. I don't require that they be good. I don't require that they have experience. I don't require they have their own equipment. I don't require any of that. The only thing I require is that they try. You put effort in and you listen to me. When I tell you to do something, you at least try to do it. If you don't succeed, that's fine, as long as you tried. Well, he didn't. He didn't do what I asked him to do. He didn't even try. He didn't put forth the effort. So that made me mad. That was for the beach. And then as we were coming off of the beach, we were almost to the tents, and he didn't have his barrel sock on, which is a big no-no for me. And then I was like, "Where's your barrel sock?" And he was like, "I don't know." And that's pretty much how I responded. So that made me mad too. But other than that, he did fine throughout the day. He did good work. He listened throughout the rest of the day, as far as I could tell. So yeah, I don't know. He just kind of disappeared. So just check on him, Eric, if you would. Yeah, I guess that's about it for the night. So yeah, everybody have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.